Okay, good morning. Let us today discuss about the long transmission lines. Okay, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay. We have covered short transmission line and medium transmission line. Okay, in both the transmission lines, we have considered concentrated parameters or lumped parameters. Okay, and in short transmission line, we neglected reactance. But in long transmission lines, like medium transmission lines, we'll consider both the all the resistance, inductance, and capacitance. Sorry, in short transmission line, we neglected the capacitance. We considered resistance and inductance. In medium transmission line, we considered resistance, inductance, and capacitance, all the three. Similarly, in long transmission lines, we'll consider resistance, inductance, and capacitance. But what is the difference? Difference is that here we'll consider distributed parameter, because it has been seen that if we consider concentrated parameter, there are certain errors which are very of considerable magnitude. So we have to consider the distributed parameters. That means the resistance, inductance, and capacitance, all they are all distributed throughout the whole length of the line. That means in practical case. So in long transmission line, actually I have taken this one from Wadhwa. Okay, some pages are very hazy. So if you have, I know some of you have that book. One day you are telling me whether this book is okay. So I have taken the photocopy from that book. If you can, you take the photocopy and distribute amongst yourself. But if you notice carefully, I think you can read if you attend my class. Okay. Now in long transmission line, what happens? Generally, it is said here less than 160 kilometer, we can consider it as short or medium transmission line, and we can consider concentrated parameter. But above 160 kilometer, the error is not negligible if we consider concentrated parameters. So it's better to consider distributed parameters if the line length is more than 160 kilometer, though it may be medium transmission line. So in the examination, if you get a problem, say the length of the line is 150 kilometer and you are given all the parameters, so it's better to use the concept of long transmission line. But if you find that parameters are given in lump form, then you can use the concentrated parameter. So don't, if in the examination length of the line comes 150 kilometer and you are asked to find certain parameters regarding long transmission line, you cannot write that 150 kilometer is a medium transmission line, so we can consider like that. In that assumption would be valid. Okay. Now in long transmission line, how we are considering the distributed parameters? Say this is the length of a line. The sending end voltage is Vs and receiving end voltage is Vr. You know it is represented by Vs and Vr. We have taken a small length of the line at a distance x from the receiving end. Okay, and let the small length of the line be delta x. Okay, so what is the voltage drop in this small line length delta x? It is delta V. So we can say that before this delta x length, the voltage was V plus delta V, and after that it is just V. Okay, so the voltage drop is delta V. And similarly, the current entering is I plus delta I in this section, and leaving is I. Why? Because some current is the charging current flowing through the capacitor, which is connected in parallel. So these are considered, these are written here, and we'll consider the parameters in per unit length. Okay. So Z is the series impedance per unit length. That means it is R plus JX. Y is the shunt admittance per unit length. L is the total length of the line. And if we multiply these by the length of the line, we get the total series impedance and total shunt admittance. Okay. Remember this small length of line we have considered at a distance x from the receiving end. Now let us proceed. How to proceed? We have enlarge this section, this delta x section. So how this section will look like? This section will look like this one. So this one is z into delta x. Actually, this one will be small z. Okay, not capital. So small z into delta x, and this one is the, generally we neglect this. This is actually G, shunt conductance. We neglect this one because we don't consider any leakage resistance. So this is the shunt admittance. Okay, Y into delta X. So the voltage here at the sending end, not at the sending end, at the beginning of that line length is the V plus delta V, and the current entering is I plus delta I, and the voltage after this section is V and the current is I, and this section length is delta X. So what is the voltage drop in this section? In this section, voltage drop will occur due to the series impedance. So the voltage will be I into Z into delta X. So I into Z into delta X. Now you can consider that why it is I, why it is not I plus delta I. Actually, delta I is very small. So instead of writing I plus delta I, we can write I. Similarly, what is the difference between the current at the beginning and at the end? That current is actually the current flowing through this shunt parameter. So delta I will be V into Y into delta X. Okay. Here also we can say that why V not V plus delta V. Again, I'm telling you the same thing. Delta V is very small, so we can take it as V. So delta V is Iz delta X, delta I is Vy delta X. Delta X is the length of that small portion. Now we can write this one delta V by delta X equal to Iz, delta I by delta X equal to Vy. Now if this delta X is a very small magnitude, we can write this one as dV dx and this one as di dx. So we have written this one as dV dx equal to Iz, di dx equal to Vy. Okay. Now we differentiate this first one. D2V dx2 will be equal to Z di dx. Z is constant because it is the impedance per unit length. So Z di dx. So Z di dx again equal to Vy. So we substitute in place of di dx Vy. So it will be Zyv. So d2V dx2 equal to minus Zyv equal to 0. Now up to this, you have understood? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am?
And you can clearly hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So the solution of this one, you find out from any mathematics book, the solution will be like this. A e to the power root over yz into x plus b e to the power minus root over yz into x. This is a standard form. Okay. Now we represent from equation now from equations 4.28 and 4.31. This one and 4.28 is this one. Okay, we have take consider two terms. One is ZC. Okay, this is ZC. It is known as characteristic impedance. We have considered ZC as Z by Y, and we have considered this root over YZ as gamma. Okay, gamma is known as propagation constant. We'll discuss about the characteristic impedance of the propagation constant in details later on. At this moment, you consider this one as ZC and this one as propagation constant. So propagation constant gamma has two parts. Actually, these are all complex quantities. It will have two parts. One is alpha plus j beta. Alpha is one name and beta has another name. These has been written later on. Now, the equations can be written as V equal to, so we have considered this root over yz as gamma. So A e to the power gamma x plus b e to the power minus gamma x. Okay. So similarly, what will be I? I can be written as, what is I? I is 1 by z dv dx. So you can find out I from here. Just find out dv dx and divided by z. Okay. So you will find I will get in this form, though it is not shown how they have got, but you can find it out. Okay. You will find that here you will get actually root over y by z. If we differentiate this one, you will get 1 root over y by z. So ultimately this one will be 1 by zc a to the power gamma x minus b to the power minus gamma x. Okay, it is nothing. From here only you will get, actually from here, this equation from 4.28, I is 1 by z small z dv dx. If you find out dv dx and divide it by small z, you will find this one, where zc is equal to root over z by y. You do it by yourself. Okay, it is not shown because everything is not shown in the book. Now, so we have to determine these constants a and b. These are the unknown, they are the constants. So we consider at x equal to 0, v equal to vr. Why? Because when x equal to 0, x equal to 0 means it is the receiving end, isn't it? We have considered the distance from the receiving end. So at x equal to 0, v equal to vr and I equal to ir. So you substitute these values here. At x equal to 0, v equal to vr and I equal to ir. So from this equation, what we get? Put x equal to 0. So you will get v equal to a plus b. And here you put x equal to 0 and put I equal to ir. So you will find 1 by zc a minus b. So two equations, two unknowns. If you solve these two, you will get what the values were a and b in terms of vr, ir and zc. All unknown because receiving parameters are normally known to you, and zc is also known because it is z by y. It is dependent on the per unit impedance and admittance of the line. Now substituting these values a and b here in equation 4.33 and 4.34, we can write the values for v. V is this one and I is this one. Actually, what do you mean by this V and this I? That means if you know the distance of the line from the receiving end, you can find out the voltage at that point. That means at any point in the transmission line, you can find out what is the voltage at that point, what is the current at that point, if you know the distance x from the receiving end. Okay, so this is actually the equation in terms of the distance from the receiving end, considering the receiving end voltage and receiving end current as constant. So these are the two equations. So now there are some terms I have told you. ZC I have told you Z by Y. Okay. Now for lossless line with Z equal to R plus J omega L and Y equal to G plus J omega C. Now if for lossless line we neglect both R and G, so we get ZC equal to root over L by C. Omega gets cancelled. So what is known? This is known. ZC I have told earlier, it is known as characteristic impedance. It has another name. This is very important. It is known as surge impedance of the line. It has a fixed value because you know L and C, these are fixed. By starting the line parameters, you have seen that L and C for per unit length, it is fixed. If you multiply by the length of the line, you will get the exact value. So if you multiply both numerator and denominator by L, it will automatically cancel. So it depends on the per unit inductance and per unit capacitance of line, and it is constant. It will have constant value for overhead transmission line. It will have another constant value for underground transmission line. Because epsilon mu are different for those two cases. So what is written here, you go through it. It is very clearly written here. Now, what is the surge impedance? Surge impedance loading. Now, another very important term that is called SIL. In short, it is called SIL, surge impedance loading of the line. What is the loading of the line? SIL of a line is the power transmitted when the line is terminated through a resistance equal to surge impedance. Say, the transmission line is terminated by a resistance whose value is root over L by C. Okay. So if it is terminated by a resistance whose value is L by C, you will find that receiving end voltage is same as the sending end voltage. At this condition only, under SIL only, the receiving reactive power generated will be equal to the reactive power generated. Every point of the line will be equal to the reactive power consumed, okay, or absorbed. So if the reactive power generated is equal to reactive power absorbed, the receiving end voltage VR will be equal to Vs. This happens only under the condition of surge impedance loading. Actually, surge impedance loading I will discuss again in the next class, and also you will learn in details in the next semester. But at this moment, you just concentrate on this definition. Okay. Now, I have told you that surge impedance L and C are constant for transmission lines. Okay, so you just put the values of L and C because you know the inductors and capacitors you have already studied. You will find that for overhead lines it is approximately 400 ohms. Okay, and for underground cables it is 40 ohms. The phase angle of ZC for transmission lines is usually between 0 degree and minus 15 degree. If we consider this R and D, because if we don't consider them, because then it will be 0 degree only. So our line terminated in its characteristics is impedance is called flat line or an infinite line. Why flat line? Flat line means the voltage every point of the line will be same as the sending end voltage. Okay. In the next class, I will show you one graph. Then it will understand why it is flat line. Because you know, in a transmission line, the receiving end voltage becomes slightly less than the sending end voltage always. But for surge impedance loading, you will find that the receiving end voltage will have a constant slope. That means zero slope. It will be exactly the same value throughout the whole length of the line. That value will be equal to Vs. Okay. So the lower the value of impedance, surge impedance in case of cable. Why it is low? Because in the cable it has relatively large capacitance and low inductance of the cable. Now this propagation constant, I have told you this propagation constant is a complex quantity. This propagation constant where it is written. This propagation constant is a complex quantity. Actually, ZC also complex quantity, but for a lossless line, it will have a constant value. So it is alpha plus j beta. Now, propagation constant has been discussed. It is equal to alpha plus j beta. Where I was studying 1 minute. These things are alpha plus j beta. Alpha is the real part which is known as attenuation constant, and this beta is the quadrature component. It is called the phase constant. Okay, and the phase constant is measured in radian per unit length. Okay, it is actually alpha is the amplitude or magnitude per unit length, and this is the phase constant per unit length. Actually, gamma denotes what will be the change in the voltage magnitude. This alpha denotes the change in the magnitude, beta denotes the change in the phase angle of the voltage and the current. Now, we will discuss this ZC and gamma in details. You will get more clear idea on this one. Now, from equation 4.35, where we have derived this equation 4.35, that means the expression for V, actually V can be written in terms of VR and IR. If we take the coefficients of VR together, I think here they have done that only. Okay, they have divided into two parts. E to the power gamma x, they have written as e to the power alpha plus j beta x, because gamma equal to alpha plus j beta. And here e to the power minus gamma x, gamma equal to alpha plus j beta, they have written in different forms. Okay. Now the first term in the above expression is called incident voltage. Actually, this one is called the incident voltage. Now, why actually this 4.37 and 4.35 are same? You can call this one first part and second part. This is an incident voltage. This is called the reflected voltage. Why? Because if we increase x means from the receiving end you are going to the sending end. This part will increase, isn't it? So we know that sending end voltage is higher than the receiving end voltage. So as we go from the receiving end to the sending end, voltage increases. Or otherwise we can say as we go from the sending end to the receiving end, the voltage decreases. So this is called the incident wave. And this is called the reflected wave because when we go from the receiving end to the sending end, we find it decreases in magnitude. So reflected wave will be decreased. The magnitude of reflected wave will be decreased from the receiving end to the sending end. Actually, this is known as the traveling wave theory. Okay. These voltage and current waveforms are considered as waves and they are always divided into two parts. One is incident wave, another is reflected wave. It is considered that incident wave is traveling from the sending end, going to the receiving end, gradually decreases the magnitude. Then at the receiving end, it is getting reflected, and the reflected wave is again going back to the sending end, and gradually its magnitude will decrease as it goes from the receiving end to the sending end. Okay, so this is called the incident wave, this is called the reflected wave. Now, these are very important. You have to study them thoroughly, and it is very nicely written in this book. Therefore, I have considered this book. Now, this voltage waveform has been written like this. Okay. Now, what I have told you just now, it is written in a very lucid language here. You go through it. Now, this one can be written as, actually, this is e to the power gamma x, nothing. But e to the power just gamma x, it is e to the power minus gamma x. So if we take VR as common, you can write as e to the power gamma x by 2 plus e to the power minus gamma x by 2. Actually, if they have considered the coefficients of VR together, coefficients of IR together. So it is getting like this. And this is actually nothing but cos h gamma x, hyperbolic function. This is known as sin h gamma x. Okay. So this can, instead of expressing in exponential form, this can also be represented in hyperbolic functions. Okay. Similarly, if you consider I, you will find this one is written like this. I, you can easily write down from this equation 4.36. Okay, so 4.35 and from 4.36, they have written these two equations just considering the coefficients of VR and IR together. So IR will be like this 1 by ZC, like this. So ZC will cancel, and here you will get only IR. Okay. So the two equations Vs and Is in terms of VR and IR are just like this. So it's very hazy, but I think you can get it from these equations. So 4.40, 4.41. Now, actually, you don't have the idea for ABCD constants. You have the idea because you have studied in circuit theory what are ABCD constants. Now, before going to the ABCD constant, this one, let me.
Ma'am?
Yes. Hello.
Excuse, ma'am, will you please explain it again, the equation 4.37, and what is that incident voltage and reflected voltage? And ma'am, how you have compared it with the wave theory? I have not got that point.
Actually, this is the transmission line. Okay. Now say voltage wave traveling wave theory, we considered a voltage wave is traveling from the sending end to the receiving end. And when it is traveling from the sending end to the receiving end, at receiving end, it's reflected. Okay, so there are two waves. One wave called the incident wave starting from the sending end to the receiving end. Another wave, after getting reflected, the reflected wave is transmitted from the receiving end to the sending end. So the incident wave, while traversing from the sending end to the receiving end, its magnitude will gradually decrease towards the sending end, towards the receiving end. And reflected wave, as it is being transmitted from the receiving end to the sending end, its voltage will start decreasing from the receiving end to the sending end. Okay, this part is clear. One which is traveling from here to here, that voltage will decrease in magnitude from sending end to receiving end, and the reflected wave which is transmitted from here to here, that voltage will also decrease from receiving end to sending end. So there are two waves. One is incident wave, another is reflected wave. And the voltage equation that we have got here, it can be just for analysis actually. This can be written like this. Okay, we have, if we go through, you will clearly understand how we arrive this equation. Now, it is the analysis. How do we analyze this equation? The analysis is made by done by considering this one as incident wave, because we find that it increases from the receiving end to the sending end. The sending end is higher than the receiving end, so this is called the incident wave. It is being incident. It is being. It is actually traveling from the sending end to the receiving end, and from here we can find as x increases, it gets decreases. X is from the receiving end to the sending end, so that it is a reflected wave. Reflected wave only decreases from the receiving end to the sending end, and this is the incident wave. Incident wave actually increases from the receiving end to the sending end. Okay, so you first go through this clearly. It is not a very easy concept. You have to study this one. It is nicely written here. You go through it. If you don't understand, again we can discuss in the next class. Okay, but you have to not only study, you have to write it, all the equations, and then you have to read all these things. Then only you will clearly understand. And another thing, I want to discuss one problem. I think that will also help you in understanding this concept. Okay. So incident wave and reflected wave. So now before going to the ABCD constants are known to you. What are ABCD constants? ABCD constants are actually called the generalized constants. Okay. The generalized constant, it is a two-port network. Transmission lines can be considered as a two-port network. This is VS, VR. So this VS can be written in terms of VR and IR as AVR plus BIR. IS can be written, this is not for long transmission line, this is true for all transmission lines. And IS can be written as CVR plus DIR. So ABCD are called generalized constants. Okay. Now, parameters, transmission line parameters. Now, how to find ABCD? You know that if we open circuit the receiving end voltage, IR will be 0. So at the condition from this first equation, we can get A as VS by VR. Okay. Remember, all these are complex quantities. Clear? And from here also, we can, from here, this equation we can get, if we make IR 0, we can get C equal to IS by IR. Okay. Considering receiving end to be open, so IR making IR 0. Now, if we short circuit the receiving end, making VR 0, we will get B equal to VS by IR. From this equation, if VR is 0, we will get D equal to IS by IR. So, you know that A and B are unit tests. And what is the unit for C? Unit for C is mho or Siemens. Unit for B is actually ohms. Okay, you can easily find out from these values. Now, from these equations. Now, you may be asked to find out ABCD parameters for short transmission lines and any method for medium transmission line. For short transmission line, it is very easy because short transmission line, you remember, it is just R and X, nothing else. So, sending end voltage Vs will be equal to VR plus Z into IR and Is equal to IR. So, if you consider Vs as AVR plus BIR, if you consider Vs as AVR plus BIR, what is the value of A? You can easily find out. AVR means A is 1, BIR means B is Z, and Is equal to IR. What is Is? CVR plus DIR. VR is not there, so C is 0 and D equal to 1. Okay. So, for short transmission line A is 1, B is Z, C equal to 0, D is 1. Now, for medium transmission line, I have only shown for the end condenser method because others we have already discussed in the last class. End condenser also we discussed, but I think these equations I have not discussed for end condenser. Now, medium transmission line can be analyzed considering three types of configuration. One is end condenser, another is nominality, nominal pi. You already know this. For end condenser, what is IS? IS will be IR plus IC. IC will be Y equal to VR. Therefore, we have written IS equal to IR plus IC, IR plus YVR. So, we have written YVR first, then IR. So, and then what is VS? VS equal to this VR plus IS into Z. So, IS we have replaced it by YVR plus IR. So we are getting the equation for IS as this one, equation for VS as this one. So VS equal to AVR plus BIR. So what is A? 1 plus YZ. What is B? B equal to Z. And IS equal to C plus IR, C plus CVR plus DIR. So C is Y, D is 1. So these are the values for in condenser method. Now for nominal P method, I have directly written these equations because I have shown these equations in the last class. You please go through the notes, you will find these equations. So from these equations, you can find, you can write A equal to this one, B equal to this one, C equal to Y, D equal to 1 plus YZ. Similarly, for nominal pi method in the last class, I've shown Vs equal to this one, Is equal to this one. So from here, you can write this is A, this is B, this is C, this is D. Actually, often in the examination, you get one question from this one. Find out ABCD parameters, maybe for nominal pi method, nominal P method like this. So actually, this is all about the ABCD parameters. Now, the ABCD parameters is slightly discussed here also. Same thing is written here. Okay. Now, what they have done, if you can write Vs and Is in terms of VR and IR normally this is the equation because VR and IR are known to you, Vs and Is you need to find out. But in some cases, if Vs and Is are known to you, you need to find out VR and IR. Then you have to get the expressions for VR and IR in terms of Vs and Is. You can easily just rearrange these two equations and find out VR and IR. So VR and IR, they have actually found out what is VR. IR, they have found out this one, and VR, they have found out. Oh, they have not written. VR is actually this one. They have written VR. Okay, nothing. You can find in by yourself our IR and VR because VS and IS are known to you. Find out VR and IR. They have shown how to find out. They have considered AD minus BC equal to 1. This is actually true for all types of transmission lines. And in symmetrical networks, A equal to D. Symmetrical means for T method, pi method, you will find a value for A equal to value for D, but it is not true for N condenser method because N condenser method is not a symmetrical network. Now, with this concept, let us see what are the ABCD constants for long transmission lines. Now, the same equation, Vs equal to AVR plus BIR, Is equal to CVR plus DIR. So, you can easily write this cos H gamma is actually A, this ZC sin H gamma L equal to B. Similarly, this is C, this is D. So, ABCD constant, you can write this one. So, ABCD constants, you can also write in trigonometrical, in exponential forms. Okay, in exponential form, this is actually A. This ZC into this one actually B. This is actually C. This one by 2 ZC. And this is actually B. Okay. So you can write in both the forms. Now, and you can find that A equal to D because this one equal to this one, we have because we consider generally symmetrical form. And AD minus BC, if you found out ABD minus BC, you will get equal to 1 because cos H square x minus sin H square x equal to 1 for hyperbolic function, not plus. Okay, minus it becomes 1. And the all the basic trigonometrical equations for hyperbolic functions I have written here. You please go through it like this one. This is known to you. This is actually cos H gamma x, e to the power gamma x plus e to the power minus gamma x. Similarly, this is sin H gamma x. Cos H square x minus sin H square x equal to 1. Okay. Cos H 2x equal to actually this one plus this one. This you need to remember because I will show you that you have to use these equations. The sin H 2x is same as sin 2x, and these also you will require cos H jx. If it is a complex quantity only having the imaginary term, it is simply cos x. Sin H jx equal to j sin x. I think you know all these things. And then cos hx by expansion you will get from Taylor series, you will get this form. Sin hx you will get this form. Actually, these forms have been used to find out cos h root over yz. sin h root over yz. This I will show you where you have used. So you can refer to this one. If you have any confusion, you can consider any mathematics book. So now one problem. This problem will clarify the whole concept. Whatever we have studied till now, the problem is based on that concept. Okay. Now I hope everybody can hear me. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now R equal to what is given? R equal to 2 ohms. All are given in per unit length, per kilometer. L is given here, C is given here. Receiving end voltage is 132 kV. Now, first they have considered line is open at the receiving end. That means IR equal to 0. The incident voltage to neutral, that means phase incident voltage at the receiving end. Okay. Incident voltage, what is the incident voltage? Incident voltage is not the full voltage. Incident voltage is only the first part of the voltage. Okay. 1 minute, this is not the incident voltage. Incident voltage is actually this voltage. This is the incident voltage, or you can consider this equation. This equation, the coefficient of e to the power gamma x, that is the incident voltage, and the term containing e to the coefficient of e to the power minus gamma x, this is the reflected voltage. So incident voltage means actually this waveform. Okay. Now, if you want to find the incident voltage at the receiving end, what will be the value of x? Value of x will be 0 because we have considered the distance from the receiving end. So just substitute x equal to 0. So what is the voltage, incident voltage at the receiving end? VR plus IR ZC by 2. What is the reflected voltage at the receiving end? VR minus IR ZC by 2. Okay, simply put x equal to 0. And also, they have considered that IR equal to 0, so it gets simplified. So, first of all, they have considered what is Z from the parameters, what is Y in per unit length. They have found out ZC because in the equation for VS and IS, you get ZC. So, Z by root over of Z by Y. So, Z is given here. The line is not lossless. They have considered R. So, you will get some value. It is not a real quantity. It is minus 13 degree. Okay, I've told you, it is written here that this angle varies from 0 to minus 15 degree. What is gamma? Gamma is root over yz. So root over of y means this one, z means this one. They have found it out. They have found out it to be, they have written in rectangular form. Actually, they have got this one. Now, receiving and right to neutral voltage 132 kV, you divide it by root 3, you are getting VR. Always you calculate in terms of phase voltage. Now, first question, incident voltage to neutral at the receiving end. Receiving end means x equal to 0, I have told you. This is the incident voltage. If e to the power there will be 1 e to the power gamma x, but x equal to 0, so that will be 1. Now, they have told that receiving end is open circuited. Okay, receiving end is open. So, IR equal to 0. They have simply put this IR equal to 0. So, what is the incident voltage at the receiving end? It is simply VR by 2. Similarly, the reflected voltage will be this one into e to the power minus gamma x equal to 0. So this is simply this one, and IR equal to 0. So this is also VR by 2. So both the values are equal. Why equal? Because IR equal to 0 in both the cases. Clear? Otherwise, they would have been different. Now, what is the next question? Reflected voltage to neutral at the receiving end. First, you have found out the incident voltage, then you find out the reflected voltage. You simply consider the next part. First, incident voltage, you have considered this one, and for current, you consider this one. Next, for reflected reflected voltage wave, we will consider this one. Reflected current wave, we will consider this equation. And it will be similar, calculations are similar. You solve it in your own. So, reflected wave, the voltage wave to neutral is this one. Current wave also you can find out. Now, what is the third question? Third question is the incident and reflected voltage to neutral at 120 kilometers, nothing. Just put x equal to 120. So, you will have some value to the power gamma x. Okay, x equal to 120. So, just VR e to the power gamma x they have divided into and written in two forms. So e to the power this one plus e to the power this one, they have got this one. And for the other part, incident voltage at a distance 120 kilometer from the receiving end, this one. So they have got reflected wave. Now this is nothing but the same solution you use, only x equal to 120 degree. Okay, and IR you make it 0. So similarly, you will find these values. These are different. Unlike the previous one, these will have some different values. Okay. So if you solve this one by your hand, if you find any difficulty in telling the answer, you can tell me. I don't think you will find any difficulty, but you need to know how to handle the exponential functions. Okay. Now next part, the same continuation of the same problem, but here receiving end is not open. There is some current in the receiving end. What is the current in the receiving end? Receiving end current is can be found out from these values, P by root 3 into voltage. So this is the receiving end current. If the receiving end current is known to you, then how to find out ZC? ZC is okay. Now e to the power gamma x, they have, and e to the power minus gamma x, they are found out separately. You find it out, and VR is reference, IR is given, this one, power factor is given, so this one. So what is VS plus? They are found out from the same equation, because the question is find out at 120 degree. Okay, so it is actually the next part. Incident at a distance 120 degree from the now this is not this problem, but it is just like part 3 of the previous problem. So at 120 degree we have found out at 120 degree VR was this one, VR minus was this one. So you have to add just e to the power gamma x. So VR plus IR ZC by 2. Okay, actually the equations are same. Equation 4.35 and 36. Actually from these two equations you are finding out everything. This is for incident, this is for reflected. Okay, if you, what is the question? Is the question to find out reflected and incident rays separately? I don't think so. The question in the next problem is determine the efficiency of the line if the line is delivers. No, if actually efficiency means you need to know the sending end voltage and current. Okay, so sending end voltage, when you need to find out sending end voltage, you have to consider both the incident and reflected. You have consider these two together, isn't it? Because this is the total voltage, so you have to consider these two together, and for current also you have to consider these two together. So both coefficients of e to the power gamma x, coefficient of e to the power minus gamma x. So they have used both the coefficients. They have calculated separately for incident and reflected. They have calculated separately. Then they have added. It is nothing, but they have just considered this one as the first part, this one as the second part. So what is the voltage? It is a summation for incident and reflected wave. Similarly, current also, it is a summation of incident and reflected wave. They have added these two values and they have calculated these values. Why they have calculated like this? Because unless you calculate the VS and IS, you cannot find out the power. Power is actually receiving end. The efficiency is actually the receiving end voltage by sending end voltage. So you need to find out the sending end voltage and current. So the sending end power is 3 VS IS cos phi s, because all these are the part phase value. So this is VS, this is IS. So VS and IS, they are found out, and efficiency, because the output power is 40 megawatt, input power is this one, this is 92.57%. Okay. Now you go through this problem thoroughly. This is the way how to solve the problems in long transmission lines. Okay. So you cannot use the concept of medium transmission line for solving these problems, because and the concept of incident wave, reflected wave should be very clear to you, because instead of finding the total voltage, you may be asked to find out the incident voltage at say 50% of the line, during when the line is short circuited, when the line is open circuited, when the line is operating at a particular power factor. All these questions become. So this is a very beautiful example where all the conditions have been covered. Okay. Now same problem, they have asked to find out the ABCD parameters. So ABCD parameters, you can use hyperbolic function, you can use normal exponential function. If you use exponential function, then actually this will be A, this will be B, this will be C, this will be D. Okay. And if we use hyperbolic function, A will be cos h gamma L, B will be ZC sin h gamma L, C will be this one, D will be this one. So they have shown this one by hyperbolic function. So gamma L you need to find out. So cos h gamma L is this one. So this formula you need to know. Cos h A plus JB, if it is given, or X plus JY, how to solve this one. Okay. You need to know, you need to find out this value. Also B, you need to know how to find out the value for sin h A plus B, okay, or A plus JB. So these things you have to solve and you have to find out, because these are all hyperbolic functions. So B you have found out. So what is VS? There, I think, yes. Hello. Any
Ma'am,
question?
we have to use the exponential for the hyperbolic because we can't get with the use of calculator.
Then you can use that one, no problem. Okay, you
Okay.
use exponential functions, but beauty is that in most of the problems you will find that real part is absent. Okay. If the real part is absent, that means if we consider lossless line, then you will find that only you have beta part. Gamma part is very negligible. Now, if only beta part exists, then ultimately this hyperbolic function, it becomes only normal cosine and sine
Trigonometric.
functions. Okay. So it's better to know all the forms. Then it's up to you. Acha. Then so here ABCD constants is this one. So from here you can verify the sending end quantities. We have found out VS from this formula. Now finding out ABCD constant, we have obtained this VS, and we have seen VS is same as that of the previous one. Okay. So another way for solving, if you consider ABCD parameters, you see how simple it becomes. Okay. So you can use ABCD parameters also to consider the whole function, whole problem. Okay. Now these are actually simple problems. No, whenever you find nominal pi, nominal t, that means you have to consider concentrated parameters. Okay. The nominal pi means concentrated parameter, and we have solved the problems in the last class. So this is not using the concept of long transmission line, though it is given under long transmission line, but be careful, this is only the actually the solution for medium transmission line, nominal pi. For long transmission line, instead, but that means when we consider distributed parameter, instead of nominal pi, we write, we have another name, we write equivalent representation. Okay. It is not nominal pi or nominal t. It is sometimes students are very confused. In the examination, you are asked to find out the equivalent parameters of the or equivalent pi representation. You consider nominal pi representation. So you won't get any marks for that. Okay, equivalent and nominal are totally different. Nominal we have studied. Now let us find out what do you mean by equivalent. Equivalent circuit representation of long line. Now, actually, what is the concept? Long line, we have used distributed parameters. Now, how using distributed parameters we can represent long line in pi form and or in t form. Okay. Whenever using distributed parameter, we represent long transmission line in pi form. It is called equivalent pi representation. And whenever using distributed parameter, we present it in T form, it is called equivalent T representation, not nominal. Okay. So actually normal transmission line, the pi, first we consider equivalent pi representation. Actually pi representation, you know, this one. And you know that this is Z and Y is divided into two parts, Y by 2 and Y by 2. But if we use, these are using lumped parameters or concentrated parameters. Now, if we use distributed parameters, this z will no longer remain z. It will have another value z dashed. This y by 2 will have another value y dashed by 2. What is our objective? Our objective is to consider this pi representation and find out what will be the value of z dashed and y dashed in terms of z and y. Z is actually the total series impedance of the line. Y is actually total shunt impedance of the line. So how these values are getting affected if we consider the distributed parameter. Okay. Now, from the nominal pi concept, you know these equations are known to you because these equations are nothing new. You have already used these equations in the last class. I have written this equation 1 plus yz plus z and is equal to this one. So, pi representation means this one, we have written this one. Okay, but this y will be y dash, z will be z. What we are trying to do, we are trying to find our y dash in terms of y and z dash in terms of z. So what we are doing, and is also you have written in this form. Now we know V is equal to AVR plus BIR. So A is actually 1 plus y dash z dash by 2 and B is actually z dash. And what is A? A is equal to cos h gamma L, B equal to ZC sin h gamma L. Because you know from the hyperbolic function, from this equation, A is actually cos h gamma L, B is equal to this one, C equal to this one, D equal to this one. So here we are using the distributed parameter concept. So actually we are equating these two terms. So actually we are getting these values, these four values, A, B, C, D. And from here, this is A, this is B, this is C, this is D. So we are getting four equations. Now the simplest of these four equations is this one because it uses only one term z dash and no y. So we'll start with this equation. Now z dash equal to zc sin h gamma L. Now zc we know it is equal to root z by y. Now gamma L is written here sin h gamma L, but what we have done, we have multiplied both numerator and denominator by L. L is the length of the line. We have multiplied both the numerator and denominator by root over yz. Okay, what is root over yz? Root over yz is actually gamma. Clear? And see, as we have multiplied these things, what is the approximation we are getting? This root y and this root y cancels out. Only z is remaining in the numerator. Root z into root z. So z into L. What is z into L is written here as sin h gamma L. By this one I have written as gamma. Okay, gamma L. I think this part is clear. You please observe carefully. Nothing. But they are multiplied numerator and denominator by L and multiplied numerator and denominator by root over yz. Okay. So now small z into L is actually equal to capital Z, total series impedance of the line. And sin h gamma L by gamma L, they keep it as usual. So can you find out that you have already got Z dash in terms of Z only? So the Z dash will be actually Z into sin h gamma L by gamma L. So we have already represented this Z dash as Z. Z dash is not equal to Z, but that is one hyperbolic term with it. Sin h gamma L by L. Similarly, we considered this equation to find out y dashed. 1 plus y dash z dashed by 2. We'll consider this one cos h gamma L. What is the approximation? We need to know the concept of this hyperbolic function. 1 plus y dash by 2. What is z dash? Z dash, they have written this one. They have written this one, zc sin h gamma L. Okay, z dash, they have written zc sin h gamma L. This is cos h gamma L. Now, what I have shifted this one to the right hand side. Okay. So y dash by 2 zc sin h gamma L equal to cos h gamma L minus 1. Okay. Now cos h gamma L, actually we have used the concept cos h 2x. What is cos h 2x? Cos h 2x I have written here. Cos h 2x is actually cos h 2x is actually sin h square x plus cos h square x. So I have only written this one, cos h, this one as cos h gamma l equal to cos h square gamma l by 2 plus sin h square gamma l by 2. And what is 1? 1 is actually cos h square gamma l by 2 minus sin h square gamma l by 2. Okay, so minus is there, so one minus is here, another is here. Okay, up to this, is it clear? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this is nothing but rearrangement. Okay, so what do you find out? You find out what is remaining here, y dashed by 2. So this one, sin h gamma l, we can write sin h gamma l as 2 sin h gamma l by 2 cos h gamma l by 2. So we have 2 gets cancelled. So y dash zc sin h gamma l by 2 cos h gamma l by 2. So that is actually coming as in the right hand side. What we have, just cancel this one with this one, you get 2 sin h square gamma l by 2. Okay, from this equation we are arriving at this equation. Now one sin h gamma l by 2 and another from here gets cancelled. So what you have? You have these 2 we have brought in the left hand side. So y dashed by 2 equal to zc, we have taken this side. 1 by zc sin h gamma l by 2 and cos h gamma l by 2 we have shifted to the right hand side. It becomes tan h gamma l by 2. So what is y dashed by 2? It is actually 1 by zc tan h gamma l by 2. Okay. Now, what is ZC? ZC equal to root over Z by Y. So, 1 by ZC, it is actually root over Y by Z. And we have multiplied the numerator and denominator by L and root over YZ by 2, just like the previous one. So, ultimately, we'll get this equation. Why we are not kept this equation? Because ZC we don't know. We know only capital Z and capital Y. So we have arrived the equation where we can represent y dashed in terms of y. So y dashed by 2 is actually equal to y by 2 tan h gamma l by 2 by gamma l by 2. So we can represent this equivalent pi representation will be like this, where z dashed equal to z into sin h gamma l by gamma l, y dashed by 2 equal to y by 2 tan h gamma l by 2 by gamma l by 2. Okay, this is actually the equivalent pi representation of long transmission line. So this term is what is very important, equivalent. Now similarly, for T representation, we'll go to the same thing. I'll not discuss in details because it is exactly similar to that of the pi representation, only the equations are different. This is A, this is B, this is C, this is D. So equating ABCD, we can find these 4 equations just like the previous one. Now you can see this is the simplest form. So we'll start with this equation. So y dashed is equal to 1 by zc sin h gamma l. Similarly, multiplying numerator denominator by root over yz and L, we can arrive to a simple form like this. Y dashed equal to y sin h gamma l by gamma l. Okay. Next, we'll consider another term. Say this term 1 plus y dash z dash by 2 equal to cos h gamma l. And exactly similar form like the previous one. Okay. We can find out z dashed in terms of z like this. Actually, here we'll find out y dashed because the circuit is y dash, contains y dash and z by 2. So z by 2 we have found out like this one, and y dashed we have found out this one is y dash. So the circuit representation is like this. Simply y dash equal to y into sin h gamma l by gamma l. Z dash by 2 equal to z by 2 sin h gamma l by 2 by gamma l. Okay. Now, if we want to expand and find out the relation, it is the exponential form is shown here, and you can find out that A equal to D. This you go through it, you can easily find out. Okay. Now, this equivalent pi representation and T representation, is it clear? Okay. I think you need to go and study on this one to get clearer concept. This is very important. Often you get in the examination, you get this derivation. Okay, find out the equivalent parameters for pi representation or t representation or like this. Now these things I've already discussed. Okay, now ABCD parameters we have discussed. ABCD parameters is actually the circuit representation of transmission lines. It is when you consider a single transmission line, we use ABCD parameters. Now, suppose two transmission lines are joined in cascade. Sometimes they are called to be joined in tandem. Tandem means the output of one is connected to the input of the other. That means in series type. Okay. So, what is the equivalent ABCD constant for the whole network? Whole network means if we consider input as Vs, the output will be Vr. Okay. Now we consider the output of the first network as V dashed, voltage, current is I dash. This is the acting as the input of the second network. So for the first network, we can consider Vs equal to A1 V dashed, because here Vr is V dashed, plus B1 I dashed. Okay, these are the outputs. Similarly, Is equal to C1 V dashed, G1 I dashed. Okay. Now consider in the second network, Vs and Is are actually V dash and I dash. You write V dash equal to A2 Vr plus B2 Ir. This is written here. I dash equal to C2 Vr plus D2 Ir. So these two equations we can easily write. Now, just by what is Vs? From these two equations, how do we write Vs? Just substitute V dashed as this value. In this equation, first equation, substitute the value for V dash from this equation and I dash from this equation. So you will arrive to this equation. Vs in terms of Vr and Ir. So as soon as we know Vs in terms of Vr and Ir, we can easily say this is the A equivalent of the whole network. This is the V equivalent of the whole network. Similarly, in the second equation, you substitute V dash and I dash from here. So you can easily arrive to this equation. So I is equal to CVR plus DIR. So this is C equivalent, this is D equivalent. So you need to remember, otherwise you can always derive and find it out. If any question comes on the series to find out the equivalent ABCD constants when they are joined in cascade. So this is A equivalent, B equivalent, C equivalent, D equivalent. Okay. This is very simple. Now next, when the two networks are connected in parallel, what do you get? Parallel means input. These are the two networks. So this in terminal and this terminal are joined. This one and this one are joined. So in the output side also this one and this one are joined, and this one and this one are joined. So as they are parallel, the input voltage Vs will be same for this network and for this network. Similarly, output voltage Vr will be same for this network and this network. But the currents will differ. If the total current entering is Is, the current entering the first network we have considered Is1, current entering the second network we have considered Is2. And here we have considered current leaving the first network IR1, current leaving the second network IR2. The summation of this IR1 and IR2, it makes a total receiving and current IR. Okay, this is clear from the figure. Now for the first network, you write down the equation. Vs equal to A1 VR plus B1 IR1, because this is the receiving and current of the first network. Similarly, for network 2, Vs equal to A2 VR plus B2 IR2, you have to write. Now multiply first equation by B2, second equation by B1, we arrive to this equation and we add these two. If we add these two, we take Vs common and write V1 plus B2, and adding the coefficients of Vr, we can write this one. Adding the coefficients of IR1 and IR2, we have written this one. Actually, why you have multiplied B2 and B1? To make the coefficients of this IR1 and IR2 equal, because we know IR1 plus IR2 equal to IR. So This becomes V1, V2, this becomes V1, V2. When you add, it becomes V1, V2 within bracket IR1 plus IR2. So it is like this. So we can substitute this one as IR. So dividing Vs, we can write as this one. So it is very easy to write. This is A equivalent, this is B equivalent. So we can easily write down what are the A equivalent and B equivalent parameters. Now to find out C equivalent and A equivalent, that means to find out IS equal to CVR plus DIR, we have to do some simplification. Now, IS from this equation, what is IS1? IS1 equal to C1 VR plus B1 IR1. Okay. And from this equation, IS2 equal to C2 VR plus D2 IR2. Actually, these equations we have written. Just like we wrote these equations earlier. For network 1, network 2. Similarly, for network 1, this equation. For network 2, this equation. Okay. Now, what is IS? IS is actually IS1 plus IS2, isn't it? It makes the total current. So IS is actually, you add these two. Adding this one and this two, we get this type of equation. Now, IR2, we can represent IR2 by IR minus IR1. Okay. So, just we have written in place of IR2 as IR minus IR. So what is IS? IS equal to C1 plus C2 VR plus D1. This IR1 we have taken common. So D1 minus D2 IR1 plus D2 IR. So what are the unknowns? Unknowns here are IR1 and IR2. Actually, you have to get IS in terms of VR and IR, not in IR1. Now we find out what is IR1 in terms of VR and IR. What is IR1? IR1 from this equation we can write IS1 minus CVR by B1. This is not from this equation. Oh, this is not from this. This is from the first equation. IR1 equal to Vs minus A1 VR by B1. So we have got this equation, written this equation here. Why? Because we know Vs in terms of VR and IR. So what is Vs? We have substituted these values in place of Vs. So can you see? We can arrive at the equation for IR. You can express this IR1 in terms of VR and IR. So we have expressed, we have expressed this whole equation in terms of VR and IR by substituting the equation for Vs from here. Okay. So as soon as we get IR1 in terms of VR and IR, we can substitute this value here, IR1. So we can get IS in terms of VR and IR. This is just the simplification, nothing. So ultimately you will arrive to this equation. Okay. You consider this value coefficient of VR together, consider coefficient of IR together, because in this whole equation you will find only VR and IR, no other quantities except ABCD constants. So you add this equation, so you will get C equivalent as this one. That is coefficient of VR, you will get this one. And coefficient of IR I have not written because A becomes equal to B, so you have already got the equivalent, you can write it. Okay, so this is actually C equivalent. So if we get any problem on parallel connection, you have to remember, if you want to avoid the derivation, you have to remember this one, and this one. And you can substitute E equivalent equal to A equivalent. Okay, up to this much, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is actually written here. Now measurement, I'll cover it up in the next class. Let us consider, I think only one problem is given. Okay, I will cover the measurement also, because then it will be completed. So first let us consider the problem. What is the problem given? In very short, I will discuss this one because you can solve it. It is given. What is the problem? Length of the line is 160 kilometer. The power is given, voltage is given, power factor is given. So easily you can find out what is IR. You have to find the efficiency, regulation, VS and IS. Okay. And also, I think determine sending and okay, VSIS and efficiency and regulation. Resistance given this one in per kilometer, spacing given 3.7 meter, this meter. Okay, this is a three-phase line. It is actually the why the spacing is given, because you have to calculate the inductance. You know, asymmetrical spacing and transpose. What is the formula? Formula for inductance was 2 into 10 to the power minus 7 ln D equivalent by R dashed, not R. Okay. So D equivalent, what is D equivalent? D equivalent was cube root of this one into this one into this one. That is a GMD. They are found out here from the diameter. What is the diameter? Diameter, I think the diameter of the line is given, or diameter is given. So you have to find out the radius and you have to find out R dashed. I don't know whether they have written here only R, but if they have written only R, then it is wrong. You must find out R dashed. I have not checked. Okay, you please check. For calculation of inductance, you must use R dashed. Clear? So actually, this is a problem combining the calculation of line parameters and performance and transmission. Okay. So this is the inductance. If you can find out the inductance, then you just omega L will give you the XL, and they have multiplied 160. That means this is the total value. Okay. Similarly, for C, 2 pi epsilon 0 ln D by R. Here you have to use, I see here they have used R only. So this is wrong. Okay, because both cannot be equal. One is R dashed, another is R. Please check it. Because it's very difficult for me to correct it in the photocopy. But you be careful. Don't use R dashed. Okay. So don't use R. Use always R dashed in inductance. But in capacitance, use only R. So this is the C. So C, they have calculated like this, they have got this value. So once you know R is given, resistance is given, XL is found out, you find out this one Z, total Z. And similarly, if you know Z, you can easily find out this root over Z by Y. Actually, it is if you take the per kilometer Z per kilometer Y, or you use the total Z and total Y, it is same, because this is a ratio. Okay, anything you can use. Now gamma, what is gamma? Root over YZ. Okay, remember you have to use the per unit distance values for Y and Z here. Okay, here it becomes immaterial, but here it will matter. So find out gamma from here, then find out gamma L, and then start solving the problem. ABCD parameters you find out, because it's very easy to find out VS, IS if you use ABCD parameters. Okay, so A is cos H gamma L. So you calculate this A, then B you calculate sin H gamma L, then you go to C and D. All things D unit are calculated, it will be equal to A. So what is actually VS? It is simply AVR plus BIR. You simply find out VS like this. Similarly, line to line, you have to give the answer in line to line form. So you have to multiply this one by root 3. Similarly, IS will be CVR plus DIR. So you solve it by yourself, you will get this value. Sending at power is 3 VS IS cos theta. And now, so as soon as we know these values for efficiency, you can easily find out sending and receiving and power by sending and power. Okay. But for voltage regulation, what you have to use? For voltage regulation, I have told you it is VRNL minus VR by VR. Okay, so VR is known to you. What is VRNL? It is actually the receiving end voltage when it is open circuit. And I have already discussed in the last class how to use this one. Actually, this one, what will be the receiving end voltage under no load condition? Under no load condition means making IR 0. So whenever you are making IR 0, this becomes VRNL. So what is VRNL? It is simply VS by A. So this is the advantage of using ABCD constant. VRNL, you simply write VS by A. Okay. So they have found out VRNL as Vs by A. Yes, Vs by A, they have used this in the equation. You have solved this type of equation in the last class also, we have discussed. So percentage regulation is this. Okay, so this is all about this problem. Now another, I will discuss, up to this, is it clear? Okay, the last thing that is remaining, how to measure this ABCD constant. I think you have this experiment. I don't know what will happen to your laboratory experiment, but the measurement of ABCD constants was there in your syllabus in this semester. In this semester or in the next semester, I don't remember clearly. But you need to know how to measure ABCD constants. Now, I have told you ABCD constants are all complex quantities. Okay. So, in order to find the angle, in addition to using voltmeter, ammeter, you have to use the wattmeter. This you can understand. So there is a transmission line here. At the input, you put one voltmeter, you put one ammeter, and you put one wattmeter. Now, what is the rule? First, you open circuit the receiving end. Okay, find out these values. Then you short circuit the receiving end. Again, find out the ratio. Let me repeat. Actually, this is done in 4 steps. First, you give supply to the sending end. Normally, supply is given to the sending end. First, keep the receiving end open. Then find out V by I. Okay. Then next, you short circuit the receiving end. Again, find VI by Y. V by I. What is ZSO? ZSO is actually equal to Vs by Is. Vs given by this one, Is is given by this one. Vs by Is when receiving end is open. A stands for sending end, O stands for open circuit at the other end. Okay. So ZSO is the sending end impedance when receiving end is open circuited. Sending end impedance means Vs by Is. Next, ZSS. ZSS means sending end impedance with receiving end short circuited. Short circuited means just join this line. Okay. Now, this is the first part. Second part, what you have to do? In the second part, they have shown the same figure, open circuit test and short circuit test. In the second part, what you have to do? You have to give the supply to the receiving end. Okay. Don't put the supply to the sending ends. Give supply to the receiving end. Okay. And connect all these things in the receiving end. So you will find ZR, receiving end impedance, with sending end short, first open circuited, then sending end short circuited. These 4 tests you need to do in order to find out 4 generalized constants ABCD. And only V by I taking from the voltmeter and ammeter reading will not serve your purpose. You have to consider the angle from the wattmeter reading, because wattmeter reading will give Vs, Is, cos theta S. From there you will get cos theta S, angle between Vs and Is. You have to consider that cos theta S also. So first one, first give the supply to the sending end. So the receiving end open means IR equal to 0. So what is ZSO? ZSO is Vs by Is. What is Vs by Is? See, if IR is open circuited, from the first equation you get Vs equal to AVR. From second equation you get Is equal to CVR. So Vs by Is will be A by C. So Vs by Is equal to A by C, that is equal to ZSO. And ZSO, yeah, just like 2-port network. So this is actually, and the angle you have to write with angle also. And what is ZS? ZS means VR becomes 0. So what is actually Vs by Is? These terms become 0. It is becomes V by D. It is V by D. VR equal to 0. Okay. So these 2 equations you have got. Now next, we have earlier found out just Vs and Is in terms of VR and IR. If you know, you can easily write down VR and IR in terms of Vs and Is. Clear? So we have simply written VR and IR in terms of VS and IS. This is actually shown here also. Here they have shown. You can go through this one also. You can find out by yourself. This is IR and this is actually VR. They have written this one. Now, what is the another thing you have to consider? What you have to consider? See, when you consider two-port network, always you consider IS entering here, IR leaving here. But when you are giving supply to the receiving end, what you consider? IR going inside, IS leaving inside. Actually, IR and IS, we are not this, though we are giving supply to the receiving end, but this will remain as IR. Okay, and this will remain as IS because S and R, these are fixed. Okay, so instead of IR going this side, if we give the supply here, IR will be this side, IS will be this side. Both IR and IS are reversing the direction. So in this equation, what we have to carefully change the sign of this IS and IR. Okay, because when you give supply to the receiving end, both IS and IR are changing that direction. So it becomes plus PIS, and here IR becomes minus IR. This IS becomes minus. Okay, so everywhere IS and IR, we are changing their signs. So second equation becomes IR equal to CVR plus CVS plus AIS. So what are the two equations? This one is the equation and this one is the equation. Now follow the same rule. Z arrow, if IS is sending in is open circuited, coefficients of IS will be absent. So VR by IR will be D by C. If the sending in is short circuited, this VS, coefficients of VS will be absent. So B by A equal to VR by IR. So Z arrow, ZRS you will get, and from the wattmeter reading you will get the angles. Okay. Now the two equations, what are the two equations? Two equations are now this equation 85, 86, 87 and 88. So from here we get Z arrow minus ZRS. Z arrow minus ZRS we are getting as D by C minus B by A. Because what are our known parameters now? Known parameters are actually these four, ZSO, ZSS. Because we know this from the voltmeter, ammeter and wattmeter reading. ZRO, ZSO, ZSS, ZRO and ZRS. Okay, these are the four. So ABCD we need to find out in terms of these four parameters. So ZRO and minus ZRS becomes D by C minus B by A. Now if we approximate these things, AC AD minus BC, AD minus BC is always equal to 1, it is 1 by C. So we get one equation ZRO minus ZRS is equal to 1 by C. Now if we divide this one by ZSO, what is ZSO? ZSO is actually A by C. So dividing this one by ZSO, A by C means in the denominator we have A, numerator we have C. So CC will cancel 1 by S square. So A will be equal to root over ZSO by ZRO minus ZRS. So see, we can find out the generalized constant A in terms of these values because these things we have measured. So as soon as we know A, then we can easily from this equation we can find out B. B will be equal to A into ZRS. So from this equation we can easily write down B. A into ZRS into this one. Now from the other equation, see if we know this A and B, we can easily find out C and D. C and D we can find out as A and B unknown. A is known. So C we can find out A by ZSO. Okay, B is known. We can find out D into ZSS, or you can simply write A equal to D. So that C we can find A by ZSO. Okay. So C equal to A by ZSO. Okay. And ZR also you can find out. So D you need not find out. So all these values you can find out. A equal to D equal to this value. B you have already found out this value. C you have found out this value. Okay. So this is the way to find out the ABCD constant in a two-port network. So what are the 4 steps? First, give supply to the sending end. First, then keep receiving end open, and then next stage keep receiving end short. In the next phase, you change the supply terminals, give the supply to the receiving end, make the sending end open, make the sending end short. Take the voltmeter, one ammeter, and wattmeter readings in all the 4 experiments and find out these values. Okay. So up to this for today, is it clear? Hello? Okay. I will, okay, one student have one confusion. Let me clear that. It will take just 5 minutes. Is the screen visible, line parameters? Okay, your confusion was this one. This one. This is the problem. Actually, this from this derivation you are having the problem now. Why you are using this one, isn't it? Actually, for equation 2.1, for actually flux linkage is number of turns into flux, because you see the difference is this is Weber per meter, this is Weber turn per meter. Okay, but when you use a conductor, if point is outside the conductor, you can easily multiply it by the number of turns, or you can just multiply by 1 if the number of, if you consider a single conductor. Okay, just we have written in the second case. In the second case, see d phi, sorry, in the second case, see d phi was equal to d psi, because we have considered the point outside the conductor. Okay, number of turns 1. But here we are considering the conductor inside, the point inside the conductor. So inside the conductor, we cannot consider the whole conductor. We cannot multiply it by 1 because it is not the whole conductor. It is a part of the conductor. Okay. And part of the conductor, that is always considered on the fraction of the current. Okay. Because we cannot multiply by 1. We have to multiply it by a fraction of 1 because it is inside the conductor. So at what point the conductor, at what place in the conductor the point is placed? The point is placed at a distance x from the center of the conductor. So the Weber should be multiplied by the fraction of the total turns in order to get the Weber turn. Okay, that fraction will be the part of the total current enclosed. What is the part of the total current enclosed? That part you have to get by Ix. Okay, this is the x square by r square. Therefore, now flux is throughout the conductor. The flux is like this, like this, like this. No, in Ampere circuital law, you consider the total current enclosed by that path, isn't it? If you consider this path, then you consider the total current enclosed by this path, total current inside this path. If you consider the total current inside this path, you have to consider the total current enclosed by that path. If you want, isn't it? What is this definition? This Ix is actually total current enclosed by this circle, isn't it? If we don't multiply, how do we convert this Weber to Weber turn? How we convert Weber to Weber turn? They are not same. You have to consider the flux linkage, isn't it? Weber and Weber turn are different. Can you multiply this one by 1? You can multiply. If it is just at the periphery of the conductor, you can write this one multiply by 1 and write it. In order, it is not total turn also, it is a fraction of the turn. And the fraction of the turn is always considered from the concept of the current enclosed by that circle. Okay, this is different. This one, can you hear me? This is different. This you have understood, but this is different and this is different. This we have considered to convert the Weber into Weber turn. Understood? You think from this concept. It is not d-phi we cannot use. We have to use d-psi, and there is difference between d-phi and d-psi. Okay. Now this much for today. Next week I will not take any class. After that week I will again take class on Tuesday. Okay. Only next week I think there is some Bhakti Didi or lunch on Tuesday or Monday. So next week there will not be any class. After that week on Tuesday at the same time I will take again class. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Please
Thank
study.
you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.